with AmeriCamp, the Ultimate Summer Camp podcast. We're delighted today to be joined by our first sort of camp director, leadership member of staff, and our first international guest as well. We're being joined by Jay from Breezemont. Jay, how are you?
I'm doing really well, and I'm excited to be here. This is my first podcast ever, too. So
that was the next question about, have you ever done a podcast? Is this like a great chance for you to talk about camp even more, or...?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it might be a brand new career for me, be a famous podcaster.
Yeah, you might be launching the Breezemont podcast this summer where it's just every single staff member gets a turn on it. You never know. So
yeah, that would be cool. That's a nice idea. I like that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but thank you for coming on. It's really great to speak to you. We're very keen on this podcast to get every single aspect of camp covered. So we've talked a lot about our experiences of going, spoken to people that are going this year. So it's really great to sort of get the flip side of that. Someone that's been to camp for so long is sort of working in a higher position at camp. And sort of going to that side of it all. So yeah, do you just want to sort of introduce yourself, how you got involved in summer camp, what your role is at Breezemont, and yeah, to take it from there.
Sure. So my name's Jason Mildy, Jay. I'm the Associate Director of Breezemont and the Director of Staffing. So my main focus over the summer and throughout the year is to find the most amazing staff, both here in the States and internationally in other countries, and get them on board and over here and working. We run a day camp, which is a little bit more unique than maybe some of the other camps that you've heard of or worked with before. Day camp's awesome. We get to do all the same amazing things that sleepaway and overnight camp does, but the kids go home at the end of the day, and so do our staff. So there is some benefit to that, of course. In terms of how I got into camp, I've always done camp. I started going when I was like 2 or 3 years old to another summer camp. My parents really wanted me to be a part of it, and my dad tried to send me off to overnight sleepaway camp, but I was having the time of my life where I was, and I wanted to stay. And then when it came time for career time and I had to figure out what I was going to do after university, I knew that I wanted to be in camp somehow, so I became a teacher. So I'd have my summers off. But don't tell my principal that. He probably wouldn't be stoked about that.
That's one of the best examples of dedication to camp. The fact that you were willing to change your whole career path just so you can go each summer. That's fantastic.
Yeah. But then I met Gordon, who's the owner and director of Breezemont, and had the opportunity to come on here full time. So now 12 months of the year I work on getting camp up and running, and the phrase that we kind of use is 10 for 2. 10 months out of the year we're working really hard to plan for everything for those 2 months of camp that actually when everybody comes and it actually happens.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, I think the fact that you started going to camp when you're 2 years old, that's probably like the earliest age you could actually go to a summer camp, so very much in your blood. So yeah, what was your like camper experience like then? Did you really enjoy being a camper? Do you have fond memories of that? Did you sort of go from the age of like 2 to 16 and then continue from there? Was it the whole time?
Yeah. I don't think I took a single summer off between then and my family. We broke the rules. You were supposed to be 3, but my parents knew the owners and kind of got me in a little bit early. But I don't think I took a single summer off, and truly my best friends that I still talk to today that were in my wedding, that are going to be, hopefully my future kids, friends of their kids, those are the people that are in my life. It's my camp friends. I really don't talk to people from high school. My college friends, of course, my university friends, I'm still close with them, but it's the camp people that have maintained just a huge part of my life, and I don't see that changing anytime ever soon.
Yeah, fantastic. Here at AmeriCamp, we are very keen to sort of impress how you're going to meet all these people, you're going to make friends for life, you're going to go with this job. I think you're the prime example of that. If you've made friends for since the age of 2 all the way to now, it sort of explains why camp's such a big part of life at the moment. So you just want to go a little bit further into like what your role exactly is, how maybe like our applicants could interact with yourself, and just like what your duties are at Breezemont.
So we hire about, I think this summer we're going to have about 80 international staff members, and for us that number is purely dictated by the amount of bed space that we have. So a huge part of our off season, our winter and spring months, are finding those people, recruiting them at an AmeriCamp fair, which I did with you guys this year, which was amazing, on the portals, so people that are applying online, and sometimes people even apply to us directly because they had a friend who worked with us last summer and recommends it highly, etc. Obviously, they still need to work with an agency like AmeriCamp, but our goal is to fill all of those beds with the best top possible people, and then we also hire another maybe 350 domestic American staff members.
Wow.
So it really is a full-time job. I spend all year meeting people, recruiting them, telling them about how amazing camp is and getting them to sign on. There's obviously onboarding paperwork and all the other kind of stuff that comes with it. But the fun part is really just getting to speak with people, meet people from all over the world, get to know who they are as people, and get them to not only be here, but then also be their best selves while they're here at camp.
Yeah, fantastic. I know myself, like you mentioned before, you came to the AmeriCamp camp fair. I was meant to help people get a job. I ended up speaking to you and Chris as well. Got myself a job for the summer. That's how sort of charismatic and charming you guys were, that I was able to get myself there. So just to sort of speak a bit further, from your experience, what is the best advice you could give to potential applicants that do want to speak to camp directors and sort of get hired at these events, just general sort of camp interviews? Because we get a lot of questions from applicants that you guys are seen as being a bit scary. Not that you're absolutely lovely people, but when they're having an interview for the first time for such an important job for someone from the States, they do get a bit nervous and sort of want to know what you guys are looking for. So what is sort of the top tips you can give to a potential applicant that is interviewing for a job?
I can understand how it can be a bit overwhelming and scary. It's almost like when we were at the fair, it was kind of like speed dating. Like you had to make your impression like super, super quickly. And that's hard. That's scary. It's challenging. And I think it's easier said than done. But the best advice that I can give to someone in that situation is just to truly be themselves. If you're going to be who you are when you arrive to camp, we're going to see that. We're going to understand that. And we're going to be able to envision you at our property, at our camp, and hopefully that'll be able to translate easily. Be yourself, be open, be open to the various different positions that we're hiring for in the moment, because you might be the most amazing art staff member, but I just might not have an art staff role at the moment. So the more, I guess, flexible you are and the more interests you have, that's definitely something that's helpful and useful to us. I was also telling everybody at the fair to go around and speak to all the different camps too, because you have to also find the one that's right for you. You might be looking for the sleepaway camp experience, which I just simply can't provide. You might be looking for a camp that's in California, and I'm here in New York. So go around and speak to all the different camps, get to know them, because you're interviewing them as well. But then, of course, just be yourself, be open, be the exciting person that you're going to be when you get to camp too.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a fantastic point about sort of your interviewing the camp as well. I think if you show that keen interest, you've done a bit of research on the camp, you're showing that you want to commit to this this is not just the first camp you've spoken to and you're just taking it because it's the first opportunity. You really are invested in the camp. You are going to be there for 3 months. You want to give your all to them. You want to give your all to the campus. You do want to sort of buy into the ethos of the camps. And I think Breezemont, all the staff that I spoke to that you hired at the Manchester Fair, they're hired because they really believed in the message of the camp and the start, and like you guys. And I think it just speaks to how successful this upcoming summer is going to be, because everyone that I spoke to is really invested in giving it the best time. So fantastic. Just to move on to like Breezemont itself then. So what we get again a lot of questions about what's a typical day like, how am I going to be interacting with the campers. Can you just give us like a quick rundown of how Breezemont sort of functions on a day to day?
Sure. And I'm sure every camp is going to have a slightly different answer to this question. So I can really only speak to Breezemont, but
of course,
most of our international staff live at one of our local dorms at the university just down the street. So we send a bus each morning to pick the international staff up and bring them over to the campus. It's only about 10 minutes away, but the bus will pick them up quite early in the morning. It's a long day, admittedly.
To be fair, after going to a sleepaway camp like 6 a.m, that's fine for me for a day camp. That's to sleep in, so grateful for that.
Exactly. But 6 or whatever time it is, the bus will pick up, bring everybody over here to camp. We'll feed you breakfast in the morning. We'll have a morning chore, a morning thing that needs done just so the day is ready to go, whether that's unlocking the basketball shed, whether it's raking out the beach so it looks nice and pretty for the kids to arrive. Everybody will kind of have like a morning task, and then all the buses start rolling in. We have about 90 buses. They're the smaller buses, but 90 buses that come and drop off campers and some staff members each morning. So we all help unload those buses, get the kids off the bus safely into their group. There's a lot of moving parts in that, so it really requires all hands on deck to help with that. After that, we do like a morning flagpole or assembly where we raise the flag and sing a few songs, go over like the morning announcements, and then that's when the day proper starts. For us, we have 10 30-minute activity periods, and every single day is slightly different. So the activity periods that I'm scheduled for on Monday are going to be different from those on Tuesday or Wednesday. And I'll go to those 10 different activity periods alongside of my campers. And I participate in all those activities. That's a huge part of it. It's literally in the job description to play. So sometimes I always tell the staff, like, be prepared to go swimming, be prepared to play football, or as we call it here, soccer.
Soccer. I know that's the best part of camp, is that you're getting paid to somewhat be a camper. Like, I would never have had any job in the UK where I could go swimming or go ziplining or play football or do anything like that. So that's sort of one of the, not even perks, it just is the job. So encourage every single counsellor, as Jay said, just get yourself involved in every activity. You're going to be wishing in 20 years' time when you work in an office job that you're back at Breezemont, and your days consist of playing sports all day or whatever else. Sorry, continue on.
And I was just going to say to that point about playing and getting involved, I call it trickle-down camping. If you're having fun as the camp director, myself, it'll trickle down to the staff. If the staff are having fun, it'll trickle down to the kids, truly to make sure that the kids are having the best possible time. We, as the staff, just have to have the best possible time. So the more you get involved, the better.
Yeah, definitely.
But we do those 10 activity periods. At the end of the day, we bring all the kids and put them back onto those buses. Again, an all-hands-on-deck kind of project to get everybody out of here safely and on time. At the end of the day, while the kids are being dropped off, the international staff have a few chores just at the end of the day, again, locking up the basketball shed or whatever it is that we're assigned. And then we head back home at about 6 o'clock. So like I said, it is a long day, but it's really fulfilling and it's really fun. And you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah, the phrase I used to get told at my old camp was that the days can seem like they last a while, but the weeks go by like that. And I think that's the case for camp. Like, you're doing a lot with your days, they're very action-packed. But as I said before, there's never any job. It's such a unique environment that you're never going to have another job like it. So just throw yourself in, do everything you can, and the campers will have the best time. Sort of moving on to the campers. So a lot of our applicants do ask us sort of what the kids really like. They sort of see the campers as like, one group. It can be a bit intimidating the first day the kids arrive and you got suddenly 400 children to look after or something like that. Can you sort of just speak to like what the campers are actually like at camp, sort of the best ways of interacting with them, any tips and tricks for being the best counsellor for them?
I mean, really the answer is that every kid is unique and every kid's special and different in their own way. And what's super fun about being one of the counselors of those campers is getting to know who they are as people. They're still learning about themselves as people because they're 3 to 13 years old. They're of all different ages. So it's really fun just to get to know them, their own personal likes and interests. It's fun to help them overcome a fear. Maybe, it's their first time going on the zip line and they're terrified of it. But you as the staff member have helped, coach them through that scary thing, and you've gotten them to overcome that fear. And now you can't get them off the zip line because they just want to keep going. So every kid is unique and different, and that is what makes it fun. But our population of kids are smart. They're, excited for camp. Often their parents had gone to camp themselves, so it's kind of like in the family's blood. And a lot of them do choose to go to sleepaway camp when they get a little bit older. That's not to say that we don't have sleepaway camp aged campers, but our bread and butter at Breezemont is really like that 5 to 8 year old range. And then once they turn 8, 9, 10, that's when we start seeing some of them go off to sleepaway for that experience. And then they come back when they turn 16 to be staff here. Yeah,
of course, yeah. I think as well, like you said, each camper is unique and different. It is all about investing the individual time, and that's when you sort of see the growth of individual campers. Again, I've got stories about how the camper was scared the first week going into the lake at my camp. The last week of camp, they were just swimming all the time, and it's those sort of moments. It's a bit of a cliche to say you are going to make a difference to these campers' lives, but the cliche's got to come from somewhere. It came from the truth of people that have gone to camp for years, seeing the growth in these campers. So I know we spoke a lot about like what the campers are going to be doing at camp, about like traditions. Just from yourself, like sort of what is your favourite tradition at camp? What is it that you love most about camp? What sports sort of like? I mean, you've been going since you're 2 years old, so you must have so many activities, so many stories that are like unique.
Camp's fun because you can do all the stuff that you can do in your backyard, in your garden, but then also stuff that's unique that you can't find in your backyard or garden. Obviously, have a pickup game of basketball is great. It's awesome, but I don't have a zip line in my backyard. I didn't know what Gaga was before I came to camp.
Yeah, I've still never heard this, but when I was doing my research before, I know you said it was your favourite game, so you got to explain that to me at some point about what that involves. Yeah.
Gaga's kind of like in this pit. That doesn't really sound as bad
yes,
as it, but it's like in this pit with like these small walls, and there's like a dodgeball in the middle, and I have to like smack the dodgeball to try to hit you below the waist or below the knees, and that's how you get out. Truly, once you learn it, you'll love it, and the kids truly go crazy for it. So you'll be playing a lot of Gaga this summer, I can assure you.
Yeah, fantastic. That is. Like, we do not have that in the UK at all, but this could be something I learn this summer, bring it back. I might make my own pit in my back garden, and then I can start just having games with everybody from there.
Similarly, like, we don't have cricket in America, but one of our international staff members brought over his, is it a cricket bat? I don't know.
Yeah, cricket,
but he brought that over and taught us how to play, and now we still play cricket every single summer, and he hasn't been back in 5-6 years, but, you know, like, it's such a cool opportunity to exchange these different games, you know, in addition to our cultures, but different camp games, and always innovating, always changing, always making new things.
Exactly. Just as well, so in terms of like traditions, I know you spoke about innovation there. Is there any sort of set traditions you have at your camp that you sort of look forward to each year? Any certain days or activities? Or?
For sure. And every day does have its own theme. So dress like a pirate day. We all come in dressed like pirates, and you know, the carnival comes to town every summer. But my favorite tradition, my favorite special event, hands down, is Olympics. Some camps might call it color war or tribal or whatever it is, but for us, we call it Olympics. It's two teams just going head to head all day long. I think it's like 2.5 days now. We've kind of expanded it over time. And you know, the kids just get so into it. They come in with their faces painted, and you know, they believe that the blue team is winning. You can't tell them otherwise. And it's so much fun. Like even the littlest activity, like on the lake, we'll turn it into kayak races, and it will be for points, and the kids will just paddle their hardest to try to get those points, because it's the most important thing to them in the world. And the staff will get involved. We'll have like counselor challenges, you know, a watermelon eating contest, and the staff will just get so into it. And you know, there's always something fun and unique going on with Olympics, and that's just my favorite thing, for sure.
Definitely, that's definitely sort of the activity that bonds everyone together the most. You might have separate teams, but if every single person is like, I am Team Blue till I die, I am investing everything into this, it just becomes the biggest event in the world. So
also from like from a kid's learning perspective, what a great opportunity for them to not only win, but win graciously, and if they lose, to learn how to lose. It's a skill that sometimes not all kids have. So it's a great opportunity for us as the staff to help coach kids through doing those, through winning or through losing in a healthy, respectful way. So everything might seem like fun, but there are some deeper meanings to these things too.
No,
you know?
Definitely. And even if the kids are losing in terms of points, they've still had all the fun and activities, and they progress their skills in those ways as well. So the campus will realise that as well when you still it down. And as important as the points are in the moment, there's always next summer. They can always win again next summer. There's always that time. So in terms of like camp stories, is there any sort of maybe stand out to you as like a moment of progression from like a camp, or like a funny story? Obviously, camp's such a unique work environment. Like, there's so many situations that might pop up throughout somewhere you do not expect to pop up. Just anything on top of your mind, or?
I mean, I truly, and I know we talked about some of these things before we started, but I can't think of just one, story to pinpoint, because so many things happen, not only during the day, but also, in the evenings or the weekends. And since our staff have that time off, a lot of the time they spend it together, traveling into the city, having a movie night, bonding over, whatever happened. So I can't just pinpoint one, but I can tell you that there are going to be so many stories and memories that you're going to share with all these people that you're meeting. Americans, people from your own hometown, and people from other countries too. You'll couch surf across Europe because you'll meet all these people now.
Definitely. This is the whole reason we set up the AmeriCamp podcast, is because the staff here that have all been to camp could not stop talking about camp, could not stop talking about the people who meet, any activities and stuff. So we can show everyone listening to this, you're going to have the same experience when you're out there this summer. So fantastic. Just to sort of like round it up then, Jay, what would you say to somebody who's maybe thinking about going to Breezemont or a summer camp and sort of just needs that final push? Like, what would you say, like, why should they go to camp? Why should they get themselves involved in all these crazy traditions and get themselves out there this summer?
I mean, I'm biased because I've done this my whole life, but I don't know why you wouldn't. I don't know why you wouldn't want to do this. It's so much fun. You get to travel to another country. You get to live somewhere else for a little while. You get to meet people that are your age, that are older, that are younger. Like, you just get to meet amazing people. You get to be around kids, make a difference in their summers, make a little bit of money along the way. And then you have 30 days after camp to travel, right? Like, isn't that such a cool part? We had staff going out to Hawaii and to Vegas and to Disney World. After they fulfilled their camp commitments, they went and traveled and enjoyed. I don't see a downside. Do these fun things, these amazing things, travel, do it all while you're young. Do it.
Yeah, definitely. Again, this is a message we push to our applicants. Like, this is the dream job. Like, it's hard to describe. Once you're in camp, it becomes a part of you. Like me, when I first went to camp when I was 19 to where I am now, it completely changed my life in terms of, it gave me a job here, it gave me so many friends around the world, it gave me so much confidence and experience. And even if you go for one summer, the skills you learn, the fact you can put it on your CV, any job I've gone for, the first question, oh cool, you were in America for 3 months, tell me about that, because it really does stand out. And I think going to a camp as like established as Breezemont, it would just be a fantastic experience for anyone going forward. So yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on, Jay. It's been delightful to speak to you. I know you're a very busy man with 3 weeks until camp starts.
I know the countdown's on.
That's what I mean. I'm packing my bag at the moment, just getting excited, speaking to everyone else going. It's getting very real, but I'm so excited to be out there. But yeah, it's been absolutely delightful to talk to you. If you guys have any questions, feel free to send them my way. I'm sure Jay's very approachable. If there's enough questions for another one, we might get him on in the summer when I'm out there. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on, and it's been lovely talking to you today.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for having me, and I'll see you soon, Rob. It'll be fun to work.
Yeah, it'll be fun. All right, cheers.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.